Apollo, a moon ship for a 500,000-mile journey. The most impressive flying machine ever built. It made the Mercuries and Geminis we'd been flying look like something from the Wright brothers. This was probably the most complex thing ever put together by humans. As much technology as a nuclear submarine crammed into the package the size of a minivan. The electrical system alone had 30 miles of wire.
I'm real pleased to be on the first flight, looking forward to it. I just now started getting into the Apollo systems and looking at Apollo spacecraft and trying to forget everything I knew about Gemini. I think we've got a real good crew with Ed and Roger.
Ed White was the best athlete in the astronaut corps and the first American to walk in space. A real mom and apple pie type. After John Glenn left the program, Ed stepped right into his shoes.
I had a great faith in the people and the equipment that we were using for the mission. I had a great faith in myself, and especially in Jim. And also, I think I had a great faith in my own God.
I remember after his flight, he insisted on putting in his life personal contract story the question of how did you feel when you got out on the first spacewalk? And he told the life reporter, I felt red, white, and blue all over. And I went to Ed and I said, come on, Ed, we're all patriotic, but that's bullshit. He said, nope, that stays.
I feel like $1 million.
Just like that. That's the way I felt.
Roger Chaffee had flown a U-2 over Cuba during the missile crisis. He took the pictures of the Russian rockets Kennedy showed on TV. Apollo 1 would be his first space flight. There was a lot to learn, and not enough hours in the day to learn it, but there was no time to slow down. We were on a roll.
Everybody had go fever, meaning we've got to go, we've got to keep up with the schedule, we've got to get to the moon and back before the end of this decade. We're on a timeline. We've got to do these things in this order. If we don't do them right now in this order, we're going to lose our place. We'll slip the launch.
We were only too eager to deliver. That wasn't the problem. The problem was that shiny new moon ship. So far, the Apollo 1 spacecraft looked a hell of a lot better than it performed.
The spacecraft had been delivered, but of course we had lived with it for, many, many months before at the contractor's plant, North American Rockwell. And we knew that the spacecraft was, in poor shape relative to what it ought to be. We felt like we could fly it, but let's face it, it just wasn't as good as it should have been for the job of flying the first manned Apollo mission.
We were dealing with new contractors who had their own ideas on how they were going to do things. All of the history of Mercury and Gemini was put aside, and the knowledge of the people that got us that far was also put aside. You don't throw your history away, you learn from it, and that's when I called it Project Appalling.